The author of the book, Viktor, was sentenced to 3 years of imprisonment in the Auschwitz concentration camp, also known as the Camp of Death. In that place, any and every kind of injustice imaginable happened on a daily basis, so you can imagine that it is even possible that the prisoners were conspired against and put to death. Unknown to Viktor, his whole family had their world turned upside down when his mother, father, wife, and brother were also imprisoned in other concentration camps at the same time. Viktor was among the few prisoners that persevered to the very end of this oppression, and in spite of their circumstances, they found meaning in their experience. As a result, they strengthened whatever little it was that connected them to life. The most important lesson that can be taken from this book is that our reaction to the adversity and troubles that happen to us depends only on our perspective of life. If we want to, we can destroy our lives by simply saying, "What is the point of this kind of life?" Or on the other hand, we can find meaning in the process by saying, "Life is testing me right now, and I am going to show how much I can endure." Now let me tell you about a similar experience that happened to me. I was in my last year of high school, and it was time for me to prepare for my college exams. I was already so confused with my classes, and I had to go through the very tough time of preparing myself for my college exams, which no one likes. My mother had brain cancer, but because of some wrong diagnoses made by the doctor, we were told that she just had a nervous disease. My mother had come to the point that she had completely lost her balance, and for her to go anywhere, my brother, my father, or I had to hold her up and help her around. She was in such bad shape that both my brother and I knew that we could lose our mother in front of our eyes at any moment. My mother also knew this, but none of us knew how big the tumor in her brain had grown. Every day I wouldn't care for my mother, and I would secretly cry in the bathroom, though I was trying so hard not to show it. I was so stressed that studying for college was the last thing on my mind. I took a break from studying for some time, and I was constantly struggling with the thought, what's the point of going to college anyway if my mom's not going to be able to see me get through? However, one night as I was sleeping, I heard a very slight sound, and I woke up immediately. But my family, only my mother and I were light sleepers. I ran to see where the sound was coming from, and I found that my mother was thirsty and didn't have any water, and so she was trying to make her way slowly to the kitchen, clinging to the wall. I ran to her and clung to her tightly, weeping, and took her back to her bed, and I went to the kitchen myself to get her some water. It was that night that I understood that this was a trial for my family and me, and I needed to persevere through it. I needed to show life that I could overcome. From that night on, until my mother had surgery, I didn't sleep a single night, and I studied from night until morning preparing myself for the college exams. I would only sleep during the day. Thus, I found meaning even in my mother's illness. And with the encouragement that she gave me, I began to study even harder because my entire perspective towards what was happening changed. And I began to see that life had given me an opportunity to both be there for my mother throughout the night, as well as to focus and study all night until morning. Months passed. We finally had found out about my mother's brain cancer. Now in the country of Azerbaijan, where my family lives, cancer surgery is not very well developed, and because of this, she and my father traveled to Russia so she could have surgery. Before my mother could have surgery, they told me on the phone that my mother's brain tumor was so large that the chance of my mother surviving was only 1%. There was a 99% chance she was going to die. As her children, we were told to prepare ourselves for that outcome and pray for her. Imagine what it'd be like to hear that about your parent. Afterwards, I realized that my mom asked my father to record a video for her where she was talking to my brother and me saying, "Always be kind to each other, my children. Your mother is leaving you." Unfortunately, I wasn't able to see you each one last time. Despite the stress and pain I was under, I found a bit of strength and told myself, "Fuad, you're going to take the exam and get a good score. When your mother gets out of surgery, she's going to hear about it and be happy." I went and took the exam and got one of the highest scores in the country. My mother also survived surgery, and she didn't even need to show us the video she had prepared for us, and so she deleted it. The purpose of me telling you this story is to share with you in layman's terms what it's like to find meaning in everything, which is the principal idea of this book. Remember that there is no problem in life that can discourage you. The things that discourage or encourage us are not the things that are happening around us, but rather our perspective towards them in our mind. Happiness comes from the inside, not from the outside. Knowing this, we can be the happiest people in the world, even in the worst of situations, with all of our problems. Or on the contrary, we can feel like the world's unhappiest person, even though we have no serious problems and are living a very rich and profitable life. While the problems that arise in our midst among our families and our friends are not the product of our minds, the way that we choose to react to them is. And thus, we need to cultivate a good perspective on everything. Seeing the best about the worst is up to us. If you like this video and you want me to make more like it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Experience X, and then click on the bell icon so that you receive notifications each time new videos are uploaded. Furthermore, if you have received any benefit from this video, please show your appreciation by sharing my videos with your friends so that they can also receive the same benefit. Thanks.